Well, guys, it's finally time. Finally time to review the final book in the Harry Potter series. Ready for this? Drum roll, please. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. What a ginormous book this is. Can you imagine it? Like, let's see how many pages this thing has. Let's see here. Let's see here. 759 pages. Well, mainly 759 pages to tell the entire story of what happens in this book, and yeah, that's really uber long. Trust me on that. Of course, I think Breaking Dawn the book was a lot longer than that, but oh well, I digress. So, anywho, in this book, everything is finally wrapped up. All the plot holes are wrapped up, and everything else like that. Everything just comes to a close in this book. About freaking time, if you ask me. So, anywho, what happens in this book is that Harry and his friends go looking for Horcruxes, which, of course, the more they destroy, the more vulnerable Voldemort will be, and the more easier it will be for Harry to kill him. Because, as said in the prophecy that I didn't mention in Order of the Phoenix, none can live while the other survives, which basically means that Harry and Voldemort basically have to have a big wand fight, and whoever's left standing will, of course, well, you get the idea. Basically has to do with the whole, I guess, fact that Harry and Voldemort, now have the same blood or something like that, or I don't know, it's just uber confusing, but still, only one can live and the other one has to die. So, yeah. And of course, then they learn that one of the Horcruxes is in Hogwarts, surprisingly enough. So Harry and his friends, they go up to Hogwarts, and then, of course, there's this big fight that takes place and stuff like that, and of course, then it's revealed that Harry is, in fact, the Horcrux that Voldemort never intended to make, but in fact he did, and of course he didn't know it, and so then, after Harry apparently dies, he then comes back and finally defeats Voldemort, and yada yada yada, etc., etc. Then, of course, 19 years later, Harry marries Ginny, and Ron and Hermione get married, and they have kids and all that stuff, and then they go off to Hogwarts and stuff like that, and Neville's the new herbology teacher at Hogwarts, and blah blah blah, etc., yada 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 yada. So, yeah, that's pretty much all that happens in this book. And, yeah, of course, as the movie goes, well, they basically divide it into two parts, because if they tried to fit everything from the book into that movie, it would be like a 3 or 4 hour long movie, so they basically divided it into two parts, which I think is acceptable. They're doing the same thing with Breaking Dawn, and of course, and they're also doing the same thing with The Hobbit, which I find very interesting. So, anywho, but yeah, that's pretty much all that happens in, excuse me, but yeah, that's pretty much all that happens in Deathly Hallows, and of course, a whole lot more characters die, like Remus, Tonks, let's see who else goes. Oh yeah, Mad-Eye. Let's see here. Who else kicks the bucket? I think maybe one of the Weasley twins. I'm not sure if it's Fred or George, but oh well. And of course, I just really love the part in the book and in the movie where Mrs. Weasley says to Bellatrix Lestrange, "Not my daughter, you bitch." I mean, to me, I think they were making kind of like a little in-joke to the famous Ripley line from Aliens, where she's like, "Get away from her, you bitch!" That just, I just love that part. It was so amazing, and I love the the way that, Mrs. Weasley said the whole, no, my daughter, you bitch thing to Bellatrix in the movie. It was so freaking awesome. I loved it. But, yeah. But, as far as the book goes, it was amazing. It was fantastic. Great way to end the series. I just thought it was fan-frickin-tastic. I loved it. It was great. It was awesome. It was so... just loved it. Everything about the book was just great. And, of course, they ended the book on a high note. It was just... I wish there could be, like... I just wish J.K. Rowling would write a book series on, like, what happened to... the adventures of Harry's kids, like, at Hogwarts. That would be awesome. That would be great. Just write a book series on... about, like, one of the kids, or all the kids, or something like that. That would be great. It would just be so freaking fantastic. It would just be so just freakishly awesome. But, yeah, but to me, I think the biggest bummer of the movie, well, part 2 in particular, is that we never get to see what Hogwarts, looked like. I mean, we know it was rebuilt, but, does it look the same? Is it different in any way, shape, or form? We never find out. It's never shown. I guess it's all left up to the audience's imagination, really. But still, Deathly Hallows, the book, it's amazing. It's fantastic. It just wraps everything up in a nice package, nice package with a pretty bow on top. It's amazing. It's just the superb way to end the series. And it was just, so good. It just really surprised me about how some things went and all that stuff. It just ended the series on an extremely high note. It's just too good to be true that, the series is now over with, but, we still have all these great books, and all these movies to watch. It's just epic. So yeah, that's pretty much my whole spiel on the Harry Potter book series, and let's do a little, and I will do a little comparison here between what I liked more, the book or the movie. Okay, let's start off with the Sorcerer's Stone. Okay, Sorcerer's Stone. Which did I like more, the book or the movie? I would have to say the movie. Chamber of Secrets, the book. I prefer the book over the movie, but oh well. Prisoner of Azkaban. I liked both. Both were good. Goblet of Fire. It's kind of hard for me to choose which one I liked best, but I would have to say I like the movie over the book. And yeah, Order of the Phoenix. I would have to go with the book over the movie. I don't know why. Half-Blood Prince, definitely the movie, and Deathly Hallows, the movie, or movies, because it was a two-parter, so yeah. But yeah, anywho, so yeah, I mean, this is probably the best book series ever. It was the first book series that I just became enthralled with. I just remember growing up and reading these books and just imagining, all this stuff that would, just like imagining it in my head, like how, like what the characters would look like, what Hogwarts would look like, and all that other stuff and everything else like that. I mean, because when you read a book and it's just words, you have to imagine it in your head, like what would it look like and stuff like that. I think the movies definitely captured what everything would look like, from Hogwarts to the Ministry of Magic to the graveyard and everything else. It just got it extremely right, and it just wowed the living daylights out of me, especially the first movie. I thought it did a great job of capturing the spirit and the feel of J.K. Rowling's book and the vision and everything else like that. And of course, the other movies did that extremely well. It just really it just made me just be like, yes, finally, these books are movies now. Thank God. It was just fan-frickin-tastic. But yeah, I just fell head over heels in love with these books. They were amazing. They were fantastic. I just can't help but love this book series. That's all I have to say, really. The books are phenomenal. They are great. And, you know, compared to, like, things like Lord of the Rings or Chronicles of Narnia, I really love Harry Potter, okay? Make no mistake about that. I'm in love with all the books. They are just amazing. They're fantastic. They're extremely just well-written books, and I love them to death. So, yeah, and of course, sometime after that, something like that, J.K. Rowling wrote the Tales of Beetle the Bard, you know, which are all these different stories that they talked about or referenced in Deathly Hallows, and there was just, of course, there was one that talked about like the three brothers, and you know, one of them got the Elder Wand, the other one got the Stone of Resurrection, and the other one, or the Resurrection Stone, and the other one got the Invisibility Cloak. And all three of those items, they actually, like, it was the Invisibility Cloak that we saw first and stuff like that. Then the Elder Wand, you know, which turns out surprisingly enough to be Dumbledore's wand, which I thought was kind of interesting. I was like, wait a minute, that's Dumbledore's wand. How do you, what? But yeah, and then the Resurrection Stone also plays out in Deathly Hallows. I mean, that book alone just kind of makes you wonder, like, all that stuff that happened in the book, The Deathly Hallows. And of course, all three of those things are, in fact, the Deathly Hallows. The Invisibility Cloak, the Resurrection Stone, and the Elder Wand. If you have all three of those, then you're pretty much set for life, you know. We're not really sure what happened to the Resurrection Stone. The Elder Wand, it gets snapped in half by Harry because, you know, he doesn't want to feel responsible for having all that power, yada, 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 etc., etc. And the Invisibility Cloak, I think Harry still has it, or maybe passed on to one of his kids. I don't know. We don't know, but oh well. So yeah, thank you guys, for watching my videos, especially this Harry Potter book series videos I've been doing. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. As for what I'll be reviewing next, I might just do reviews of, like, some CDs that I have or something like that. I don't know. And speaking of CDs, I actually got a pretty sweet CD as a late birthday present yesterday. Ta-da! It's the new Weird Al CD, Alpocalypse. Pretty cool. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'll get around to that sometime. Maybe. I don't know. But anywho, I don't know what I'll be reviewing next. You know, I might look at Secret of Nim, or maybe start off doing reviews of, the various seasons of Stargate SG-1 that I have on DVD. I honestly don't know. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. Comment, rate, subscribe. Talk with you guys later. Bye.